This filter, this camera is genuinely so cringe, but like anyway. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Imagine one day you are being asked, what kind of Indonesian are you? And of course you naturally answers, Sidoarjo, I'm from there. But then a very unexpected follow-up question appears. Oh, can you name one unique culture from Sidoarjo? And shoot, nothing comes out in your brain and you don't even know your own culture. This is what happened within this generation at an alarming rate. At this point, they are more aware of Korean culture rather than Indonesia, or home and place where we belong. Okay, let's talk in a smaller scale. Let's understand and appreciate the place where we are born and raised, Sidoarjo, of course. What is the culture thingy that is unique and exists in Sidoarjo? Besides the caste corruption from the region, of course. You have the answer yet? If not, let me introduce you to one of the traditions that exists in Ruah months that happen in Japanese calendar, which is Nyadran. Okay, this is probably like the first time you're going to hear about Nyadran. So what is Nyadran exactly? Nyadran is a tradition where fishermen, or mussel shells fishermen to be exact, are demonstrating how to harvest mussel shells. This tradition is especially unique to Sidoarjo because mussel shells, or what we know it as kupang, is very well known dish and the majority of its harvester exists in Sidoarjo. Because the abundant amount of kupang, this tradition developed to be a part of Sidoarjo. But why do people do this in the first place? This tradition is done as a sign of celebration and appreciation as well as an expression of gratitude to God for the upcoming harvest. From this tradition, they hope to be given safety and also going to the sea with abundant catches. There are few different ways that people do it. In Blue Kidul, they use poles while harvesting and do it in a broad daylight, while in Balong Bendo, they usually do it at midnight and travel about 12 kilometers from Candi to Buduran. The most noticeable differences is in the time and also places this tradition is done. In Balong Bendo, they do it in Ruahman using the Japanese calendar as a guide. While in Blue Kidul, they do it in the month of Rabiul Awal of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, birthday, using the Islamic calendar as a guide. Even though there are many variations of the tradition, all regardless, it still carries a deep meaning for each people. Nyadran itself has been a part of Sidoarjo culture for the longest time. It's a tradition that shows the richness of Sidoarjo culture, how our ancestors appreciate what the nature and also God gave to us, which is beautiful in and of itself. But sadly, it looks like the reality that we face in this generation and possibly many generation ahead is that people forget about Nyadran as a tradition exists. Not just this tradition, but many more traditions that have been part of Sidoarjo and a part of our ancestors, a part of us just cut down and stopped in this generation from the lack of awareness and attention. This is happening as the traditional culture, especially the local culture, are just seen as out of date, not cool, kabupaten vibes, etc. Because of the globalization, many people are preferring to use and copy the foreign culture like Western, Japanese, Korean, and other culture, which this create a lost connection between us and place we were born and raised, and the connection that makes us believe we truly belong here. Tak kenal maka tak sayang is a famous phrase from Indonesia. And how would you expect to feel a sense of belonging when you don't even know the place you call home? This lost connection makes the tradition that held a deep meaning to many generation and family to be lost in time, to be lost and forgotten with the last people that practice it died. The death of culture means the death of our identity. The culture, knowledge, and uniqueness also. Not only that, many people in the current status quo are underestimating and thinking abasement and overlooking traditional jobs such as fishermen, farmers, and others, making the tradition that were formed due to the influence of teachers begin to fade and until they finally disappear within time. One of them is of course Nyadran, as we said before. Would you want a part of you to die without you even realizing it? It's not something to proud it's not something to be proud of to say. Well, Nyadran exists before, but it died because no one practicing it anymore, and everyone just forget and doesn't care about this tradition. Now, we know the state of this tradition right now, and realizing that the future of this precious and unique, meaningful tradition is in the palm of our hand. We need to do something to make the tradition to be continued and well preserved, so that our grandkids and their grandkids are still able to experience the Nyadran tradition. But how can we preserve it then? There's a few different ways to do it. There are many ways that can be done, but this is how we as a student can give a contribution. Firstly, to document and share it, we can create an archive of Nyadran culture, such as an audio recording of the elders sharing stories, videos of the practice and how it's done, and written documentation of Nyadran tradition. This is very much a possibility, and also probably the easiest way for us to be aware and at least contribute to the first preservation of this beautiful culture. We can also make it fun or a static website, maybe using YouTube or other platform to showcase and make it accessible to and approachable to basically everyone. Using this new approach and document it as much as possible wherever we can. Secondly, we do a modern twist and with many other things that the government can do, like putting a promotional event in Persona Indonesia or teaching it in the local culture so that we actually eventually know about this culture without having to wonder what is the culture really is, because we never been taught in school. A traditional local tradition shouldn't always be seen as boring or not cool or out of date or kabupaten vibes. With us embracing our own culture and we feel that this is truly our home, a place where we belong, and maybe what our descendants will also feel. One step at a time. As simple as knowing that Nyadran is a part of Sidoarjo culture, we can build a country that preserves its culture, proud to be Indonesian.